Hi, welcome back to Real Auto Reports. This is another Real First Impressions video review, and this time from Real Auto Ranch, we have the 2013 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. There's some differences for 2013 from maybe the older generation Sonata Hybrid that you have experienced, or maybe you haven't, but we're going to give you our first impressions, so stay tuned. Alright, so from the front, what you're going to notice on first impression is that this Hyundai Sonata Hybrid is very different from the Hyundai Sonata. And the reason that is that they need more aerodynamics here up in the front, better wind control. So you're not going to get that big chrome angular grille on the Hybrid. You're going to get this nice brand bar with the badge in it, and then you're going to notice there's more plastic on the front of the Hybrid than the standard Sonata. Now, I don't really care for this black plastic here, but all in all, it's not all that unusual in the Sonata or in the Hyundai family. You'll see some of this design pull through the other smaller cars as well. So they've done a nice job of doing what they needed to do to get the drag coefficient where they wanted it. All in all, I think it is still a pretty aggressive front end, and it's highly stylized with these raised areas that go back up into the roof line here, into the A-pillar, this strong chrome accent that starts to go down the side, and you have these great positioning lights that are LED that look really cool at night. So it's got a lot of things about the front that you'll really come to enjoy, I think. Alright, so from the side, and you know we're near the Air Force Base here at Real Auto Ranch, so we'll try to talk over the airplanes, but you know, that's part of the fun of doing these car reviews out in the country. So from the side, the first thing that I noticed about this Hyundai Sonata Hybrid is this strong chrome accent that comes down along this upper part of the belt line. Then you have this belt line detail that really goes through the door handle, and it's very sculpted. You can feel it, you can see it. Then you have the chrome accent down along the bottom of the doors. Just really pulls this vehicle together. The other thing that I like to point out are these wheels that are on the Hyundai. Much nicer than some of the other hybrids that you've seen out there, and they are a machined face with a dark graphite painted insert there in the alloy wheel. A really nice design, and it really ties this together. In fact, I think Hyundai has done a fantastic job, and they've added some nice features here on the mirror that, you know, like the turn signals. They're LED, they let people see that you're trying to change lanes, and some of the competitors don't have this in their upper packages. This is the limited, so you're seeing basically the best Hyundai has to offer here. But let's go check out the back. Alright, so from the back, I like how the Hyundai comes together. There is really no part of this car that seems frumpy when you look at it. It seems well thought out. You've got great integration of the side and roof line into this back area. The taillights come around and integrate into this strong accent piece right here at the top, or really the lip of the trunk lid. And then, of course, you have the blue Hyundai badge indicating that it's a hybrid. It also says hybrid and Sonata. Also notice the blue text. You won't see that on the standard Sonata. That's because the blue has become the new green in most of the cars. So you have blue drive in the Hyundai. You have all sorts of blue color accents on the other hybrids out there. So that's kind of interesting. I also like that this car has the ability to open the trunk. It will lift up a little bit for you so you can put stuff in. You have your rear camera here on the back of in the underside of the trunk lid, and you have about 12 cubic feet of trunk space here in the trunk. Now, that is actually smaller than previous generations because of what they've done to the hybrid drive system and the way that they got the better economy numbers, but we'll talk about that when we look under the hood. The good thing about this is that you still can get suitcases in, but if you have a really big roller suitcase, like a 24 or 30 or something big, it's going to have to go this way, not in straight. So you'll have to get used to that. But most of them will tip up on their side and stack in this way, and then you can put smaller bags beside them. So it's more space than you probably think, but not as much as you might like. The other thing that I'd point out from the back here is that there is a pass-through that goes through the armrest, but it is not a fold-down back seat, so you lose that functionality. Let's take a look inside. Alright, so from inside, sitting in the driver's seat, the first thing you notice about the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid in this limited package is that you have leather seats, they're perforated, and you have this two-tone black and gray in this particular model. Now, the gray to me is a little bit disappointing because it looks a little bit cheap. And it's not, I think it's just the tone and the richness of the materials. There is soft touch here in the center and up here on the black area, but all the rest of this is hard plastic. So remember that when you're looking at a Hyundai, they're trying to give you the best value for your money. So they're putting a lot of great features in, but they do have to make decisions about how luxurious or what kind of materials they use to make sure that they can get as many people in to these great cars as they can at a good price point. And when we're looking at this car, this is about $32,500 with all these great options. So you have navigation, steering wheel controls, Bluetooth, the Blue Drive system for the hybrid. You've got automatic lights, power seats both sides, heated seats both sides in the front, and you have heated seats in the rear, which is great in this hybrid. That is going to be a good piece in the winter, especially for people who live in cooler climates, or if you're in Florida when it gets below 70. That was a little bit of a joke for my Florida friends. But this is a great car. It has an Infiniti sound system and all the features that you really want, including something you can't see from this view, but a dual panoramic sunroof. And the sunroof lifts up and slides back so you don't even lose a lot of headroom inside because you don't have glass sliding into the rear to take away headroom for both the driver and passengers. It's a neat car. The one thing you'll have to watch is this headroom for those of you who are taller like me, because you can smack your head on this coupe-like roofline. All right, so under the hood, this is really what makes the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. It's the technology and it's the upgrade from previous generations. The switch from electric to gas and back again in this Hyundai Sonata is much better. This hybrid system is much better in 2013. You don't notice the transitions as much. They still might not be as smooth as the leading competition in the market, and by that we mean Toyota. But I will tell you that Toyota better watch out because this car has style and now it has grace. And it also has a 6-speed automatic transmission that you can shift, which gives it a sportier flair than other cars out on the market. Now, some nits about this car is that it does, because of the new technology, have less trunk room than some of the competition. And with the automatic, that 6-speed I mentioned, there's no RPM gauge. So you really don't know when you can and can't shift down and when you should shift up. You just got to listen to it. And that's not always easy, especially if you're out on the freeway with the tunes cranked up in that Infiniti sound system. But at 199 combined horsepower, it fits right in with the competition. It'll do 0 to 60 right in that 9-second range according to Motor Trend, so we believe them. And indeed, it'll do 36 miles per gallon in the city, 40 out on the highway, and a 37 mile per gallon combined rating as rated by the EPA. This is what makes the hybrid special, and that 40 miles per gallon on the highway is better than the Toyota Camry. And one of the things I think is cool about that is that you'll get your best mileage out on the freeway, which makes this hybrid great for long trips, great for commuters, and if you're in the city, you're really only losing about 4 miles per gallon off the top-end competition being the Camry. And at the pump, that's really not going to translate to a lot of cost increase or cost savings in either direction in the city. So I think Hyundai has done a great job. One of the last pieces I want to mention about the technology is that this car will still use the hybrid at 74 miles an hour and below. So that is how they get that increased highway miles per gallon. You're using the EV in a wider range. This is a neat car. Let's talk about how it drives. All right, so driving this car, normally I do this behind the wheel for the first impressions, but, let's be a little different, talk about how this car drives. Well, from a first impressions, when I first got in it and I took it around the block, the thing you notice immediately is it is smooth from the electric to the non-electric modes. So the gas to electric and back again. That EV light is really the only thing that gives you the indication. I like the shifter, I like the placement, I like where the controls are. The thing you'll notice is because of the roof line that is more coupe-like, I should say, is that you are going to have a lack of visibility over the shoulder in certain areas depending on your height. But Hyundai has tried to combat that with a rear view camera for backing up, but it doesn't have park assist front or rear in the Limited. It doesn't. In this particular package, it also doesn't have blind spot monitoring. Those are just some things that I look for when I first get in a car, is what features, when I'm driving it, are there to help me be more safe. It does, however, have traction control and anti-skid control, and those are great because this vehicle has enough torque with the electric motors to spin the tires even with the traction control on. So you know you've got good power right off the line. That's the real first impressions of the driving experience. Well, except for one more thing. The ride is going to be fairly firm for most hybrid owners because this is a sportier coupe that I think, well, sportier coupe-like sedan that I think they are positioning at a younger audience. So the Sonata is going to be a little bit different than other competitors out there. So you'll want to keep an eye on that and maybe drive it a few times. We'll have the real wrap-up coming up next, so stay tuned. So that's the real first impressions video edition on this 2013 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. May sound like a mouthful, but this is a pretty cool car with great fuel economy from Hyundai at 36 in the city, 40 out on the highway, and we're seeing 37 as the EPA estimated combined rating. Not bad, considering that we will also have a comparison to the Toyota Camry Hybrid, one of its biggest competitors, coming up right here on Real Auto Reports. But some more things you need to know about this from our first impressions is that we like the look. It's got a sportier, younger look, a more coupe-like four-door, and it drives sportier than a lot of the other hybrids out on the market, at least in my opinion. I also think that this is a car that you're not going to cross-shop with too many other cars because it is a unique look. So you might decide that you love the Sonata and you want to take advantage of that extra MPG efficiency of the hybrid. At 199 combined horsepower, it'll also provide some fun driving experiences. We'll have more in our real video, The Real Review, so stay tuned for that. I'm Jonathan McGrew. This is Real Auto Reports, and we'll see you down the road.